Welcome to your daily dose of theological German, where a sentence a day keeps the dissertation detractors away. We are on installment number 13 of the Cult Theology of the letter to the Hebrews. Already in 9:13 following and 10:2, Hebrews has or had interpreted. Now, here you have an auxiliary verb, haben, and it's in conjugated position, which is to say second position. The auxiliary verbs in these cases are always the conjugated verb, and that pushes your kind of main verb that's actually expressing the kind of process in question down to the end of the clause down here. And so, and it's always a participle, which it is there. So, had interpreted. Hebrews had interpreted. Well, what had it interpreted? So then you have the object here, the cleansing of the heart, which is to say conscience, as the removal of the evil conscience, or which is to say the awareness or consciousness of sin. Just a couple things to dig into a little bit more here. I kind of translated that these little abbreviations here as which is to say, or something like that. First of all, you might have to look up an abbreviation sometimes in your dictionary. Your dictionary should have somewhere, either in the middle or at the back or the front, somewhere, a list of abbreviations, and it will tell you that this abbreviation means Beziehungsweise, which well, actually, there's some interesting etymological things you could do with that, and that would be fun, but I won't do that now. You can just see here that it is used kind of discursively to sort of equate things, or rather, that is to say, and sometimes it's used to kind of set out a list of things that correspond to other things respectively. So the English word respectively is used sometimes where you have like two lists that are listed separately, but they each correspond to each other in a consistent way. And so really it's the idea of correspondence. And so here, heart corresponds to conscience, and conscience corresponds to, or sorry, an evil conscience corresponds to the awareness of sin. And so that's kind of, I think if you can get the idea of correspondence in your head for this term, and then it's you'll very often see it used, and it's always abbreviated, almost always. And yeah, so I think that'll be helpful to you. Just keep the idea of correspondence in mind, and then just think of what's going to be a good discursive kind of expression in English to bring that out. So what I said, which is to say, which is kind of similar to this, that is to say, but you can make up your own expression as long as you have the right nuance of correspondence in mind. So I hope that's helpful. The only other thing to point out is that you do have here this kind of compound word. It's just kind of interesting. How you're going to break this up is you're going to say, well, sin is there, and then you have Bewusstseins. Well, here's the thing. Bewusst is conscious. Bewusstsein is how you modify a word like that the way we do in English when we put ness on the end. So consciousness, and then you just compound that with sin, consciousness of sin. And just keep in mind when you're dealing with compound words, very often the right way to do it is to take the second part of the word over here and then make the first part in kind of a genitival relationship with it, consciousness of sin. So hope that's helpful. As always, thank you for watching, and do take the time to like and subscribe and share and make copious comments. I do love getting comments. It just lets me know that people are engaged and care, and gives me a little bit of extra motivation just to keep doing this every week, because trust me, it's not paying off in any other fashion except, well, it's getting my German better and better, so that's always helpful.